Slant.
Slant.
All right, Paul, let's go.
Good afternoon, Polly here on a special slant. So special. Each each slant is special, I say. It's special. I'm honing in, remembering a lot of my hosting skills and a lot of my interviewing skills. So that's always good. Been doing some late night streams, and that has been very interesting. However, today we have a very special guest, and we've been trying to like play around with the time to get together and do an interview, do a stream, and I said we have a good hour and a half to spend some time with this gentleman. This is a prolific artist, multi-disciplined artist. Yeah, I like that word, multi-disciplined. He's so disciplined that he's got multiple disciplines. How do you do that? How do you do that? Usually means different mediums like film, writing, paint, ukulele. I wonder if he knows how to ukulele. These hard-hitting questions we're going to ask because we don't screw around here on the slant. So anyone joining us this afternoon live, I really appreciate it. We have images of this gentleman. Let's actually put up a couple of images before, and then what we'll do is we'll ask him about his work. So this prolific artist, his name is RRicardo Garcia. Okay, this piece, oh man, look at this. Let me fix this. How do I do this? You know, I can never fix this without it glopping over my head. This is called Scoot. I think I'm getting the name right. Scoot. And this is the one I sent out along with a link out in the interwebs. This is called Ghetto Ron. We'll have a fun time talking about this one. And everyone's favorite, Sesame Street, Big Bird. He's not on a tightrope. I see him on many different electrical ropes there, so it's not just one, or maybe it is, but this is my interpretation. That's what art's all about. It's interpretation. But yeah, this is some of his work. So that's pretty dope. So without further ado, let's bring on artist RRicardo Garcia.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, man?
Good. How you doing? Looking sharp. I'm loving that hat of yours.
This is like the official. Whenever I'm like I put the camera on, because we can opt out of the camera, right? And,
Yeah.
just have our what do you call it? Stop the cam. Have our avatar.
Okay.
Whenever I try to wear the cool hats. I got a couple up here.
Yeah, no, it's looking sharp. It's almost like that almost tropical Cuban feel as well,
Well, it's a total sombreros.
Yeah.
From Veracruz.
Veracruz. Oh, well, tropical
So this
weather.
is,
I
Panama.
would imagine, right? Oh, yeah, it's a beautiful hat.
Look at that.
Very cool.
So yeah, man, this one was a gift to myself.
Nice.
this past Christmas. Little did I know what a year we would have.
Jeez, right?
Shit.
Man, 2020. Jeez, I tell you, some crazy shit.
So, we got a couple people watching, which we always appreciate. And if people want to ask questions, please hit it up in the comments section, and we would appreciate that if anyone wants to chime in. Um, so let's start with getting a little bit of backstory out of the way, Ricardo.
Okay.
Um, when did you first start? Because I see all the paintings behind you, and then we have the other paintings. When did you first start in your like just artistic endeavors? Was painting your first?
No, actually, I started off in theater. I did professional theater for about a year and a half or so.
Mhm.
Um, and basically, painting was more of an accident than anything. It wasn't, I don't have really necessarily a romantic story on it. It's just
Mhm.
something that I kind of fell into. And then I accepted, or I realized my destiny that, hey, this is what I was called to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by the way, more than anything, I wanted to congratulate you in this cool podcast that you're doing. It's great, man. Keep it up. Loving it, brother.
No, man. Gracias. Gracias. Well, this is the slant, and this is for um, the more artists and creative people, maybe people that are in the community that want to come on here. We're gonna talk, but it's a forum, and also too we don't necessarily toe the political correct line. So
Sure.
that's just
Excellent.
that's our slant, baby.
Yeah.
Um, so okay, so
Yeah.
now your pieces have been featured, like you've done art exhibits all over the world, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they've been through, yeah, many parts of different countries and all. As a matter of fact, I just had a show in Venice, Italy, last year,
Wow.
literally right before the Corona thing.
Hmm.
So yes, they're basically owned throughout the world for sure.
So Italy have when I'm sure you made some good bonds there. Were you able to talk to some people this year as far as how they're dealing with Corona
Oh,
and doing their
absolutely.
art?
Yeah, and that's a really interesting topic there. Obviously they got hit pretty hard as well, and the recovery is it's been slow. I mean, they've been very careful on it, but it's interesting because I've noticed that a lot of artists have been affected mentally in a creative sense. Um, so I would imagine it's been challenging for basically everybody throughout the world. Any creative mind. But at the same time, I also see it as a regrouping of sorts. Just kind of like going through these temporary funks or challenges, and now it's for a lot of people I've been talking to, it's also been like, hey, getting back into it again. Just getting into that mode, into that creativity, and I've been seeing that a lot recently. So, which is it's a good thing.
So you probably after the first like kind of initial wave of fear, let's hunker down and really quarantine.
Yes.
You yourself and other artists you feel are starting to work again, starting to create.
Yeah, I think so, man. And I could only speak for myself, but I know that, I kind of, we all assume like, okay, here I have this time that I could almost like a timeout sort of, and basically I could paint or be in this, creative mode, but it didn't really necessarily work out for me that way. I know other artists that did the opposite, but for me, I kind of went into a little bit of a funk, and I was like, man, I really just don't give a shit, bro. Like, I really don't want to create. and it wasn't necessarily that, that I wasn't inspired. I think I just got occupied, man. I got occupied with all this bullshit that was happening, and unfortunately, I kind of allowed it to get to me a little bit, Um, but I also kind of needed it, Paul. It's one of those things that maybe it was a forceful kind of timeout, mentally, subconsciously, and it was more of a reflection time than it was for me to do some paintings or what have you.
Hmm.
You know.
So, um, since then, though, you have painted and you've been writing some scripts, correct?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just I've been in that creative mode, and again, it goes back to just self dissecting. I mean, I was looking at everything that's happening and the challenges. It's basically kind of looking in the mirror and confronting all these fears and possibly confronting the fear of death as well. And
Mm.
I think it's important for I see that important for me, but I could see that important for others where it's important to conquer fear, and even make peace with yourself and if you can with others, and it's something that we should always live by. But I think with this whole situation is forcing us to make peace with everybody, or within yourself, the most important thing. And because of that, I just got into this really awesome creative flow, and it's not necessarily that I didn't really want to paint. I was really about, I just wanted to write, and trust me, Paul, I'm not a writer, but I just, it's one of those things where I just had the necessity to create in that format. But
Well, let's take a look at let's take a look at these pieces. These are pieces that I picked that came off just like the top of my head that attracted me on your website, and we'll put his website in the stream as well. Just tell us about each piece. Uh, that would be great. And so this
okay,
first one we're looking at. Let's get you. Let me see where you at there. Yeah.
okay, yeah, this one is it's called Ghetto Ron, and it's really just it was something I was just playing around with, and as you can see, Ronald McDonald is kind of a it's really portraying the fast food industry. It's portraying how we grew up thinking that it's healthy, or
Uh-huh.
all these benefits nutrition wise, and in reality it's really just a bunch of a crappy food, and as you can see in both of his hands, he has an apple and oranges, and it's basically that metaphor, apple and oranges, but they're plastic, and it's portraying how
Ah, I didn't see that.
the fakeness of it, and the
Gotcha.
quality, and how ghetto it is, um and it's not necessarily, how can I say, it's really just an awakening, an awareness, like, hey, this is, it's not really healthy food, in other words, so I thought it would be interesting just to kind of have fun with it, make fun of the way I perceive it, and
Hmm.
basically that's why you have you know Ronald McDonald with some cornrows kind of thing, and it's it was just basically for my amusement.
We got one of our buddies in the chat,
Okay.
Cold Blooded Critic, says
Okay.
hail. He's a homeboy from Northern California. What's going on, Cold Blooded? Yeah, if you have any comments or questions, go right ahead. We're looking. We're here with artist Ricardo Garcia, and checking out his work. This next piece. Oh, look at this guy.
Yeah, yeah. This one is I don't remember the title clearly, but it's something towards you know Big Bird for God. how to fly or something towards that. And it's really a metaphor of life. Sometimes we forget who we are, and the reason why Big Bird is on top of all these telephone posts, and he's taking that big leap, to fly again. But that big leap, it's just a courage to kind of dig deep inside of himself. And sometimes you get caught up in things in life and society, and you need to not lose yourself. And this is what basically Big Bird is doing. It's a jump, it's a leap to for him not to forget himself. So it's revisiting all of those metaphors about who we are. And that's basically um, what it represents to me. Yeah.
So with this piece and Ronald McDonald, Ghetto Ron, there are two huge icons in pop culture.
Icons.
Yeah.
Sure.
The connection there, and then as far as like when did you actually do these pieces? Like what year?
These pieces are, I would think maybe about, what are we, 2020, maybe 6 years ago, 8 years ago, 6 or 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe they were for the solo show I had in this gallery, and I think it was Prohibition Gallery in the West Side somewhere. But yeah, it's really just kind of portraying how, what you mentioned, icons. It's the power of icons, and how powerful they can be to influence, people, individuals, and I thought it would be important to use them instead of just a regular bird, or a regular person kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the message is stronger when you apply certain types of icons.
Okay, what's going on with this?
You know what?
It's
Honestly,
called Scoot.
Scoot.
It's called Scoot.
It was. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Say that again.
Yeah, no. Well, Scoot is interesting. I mean, it was kind of when we started getting the flux of all these scooters invading our neighborhood, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting because everywhere you would go, you would see them either broken and together. And it was really interesting because it just stood in my mind, and I thought that would be interesting. I should play with that idea more. So I started painting the scooter, and I don't
Hey, we're losing your.
started playing with the character.
Hey, can you hear me, Ricardo?
Maybe that's person. Maybe that's the way I focus on the person riding the scooter.
So we got an echo.
Yeah, it's kind of that capturing that.
All right, hold on. I don't think we can hear each other. Check your connection there. What's going on here? One. Bring myself in. How's that? Go ahead, say something. Audio no bueno. Yeah. I don't know what happened here. Why don't you go out and come back in? I'm going to remove you. We are experiencing some technical difficulties. If you can, anyone in the chat, let me know if my audio is good. Let me know if my audio is 100%. And let's bring it. So, can you hear me? No, right? All right, so I'm gonna kick him out the studio. Wait, hold on. Okay, so thank you, Ismael. My audio is good. We're gonna try to get. Let me see. We're going to text him right now. Sorry about that, guys. We're having an audio difficulty right now. Ricardo's mic is off. Yeah, Ricardo's mic is off. Maybe he can see this. I had to stream. Okay, well, looks like he's going in and back out. So bear with us for a minute. We were just starting to have a really nice talk. Bear with us. Okay, let's remove. Check. Ricardo.
Yep.
Hello, hello.
Can you hear me?
It's pretty weak. I'm wondering if you could. I don't know. You're on your iPhone, right?
What was that?
Can you hear me?
I could hear you, but hold on.
Yeah, I mean we got an avatar right now. That's fine. As long as we can hear you, we can continue. We don't need to see you, man.
Okay, hold on.
But
Try.
yeah. Also, too, if you can get closer to your hub, wherever your Wi-Fi's at, the closer the better. So when we edit this video, we'll take all this out. Fat Steven Seagal is here. In and out, you say. In and Out Burgers. Thanks for being here, Fat Steven. Check one.
What was that?
Okay.
Okay, there you are. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It can hear you better.
Okay, hold on.
Also, turn off the prong downloads. Downloads. I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay, I should be connected.
Oh, here you are. Let's remove.
Oh, there you are.
There we are.
Oh, okay. There's like a reverb.
Yeah, it was, and then we couldn't hear you. Ricardo, go ahead and just let's talk first. Let's talk for a second. Flip the O and the R.
I'm sorry?
No, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah, one of the guys in the comments is saying flip the O and the R. I don't know what that means. Fat Steven Seagal is a pretty funny guy, but I don't know if he's really trying to give us some pointers. Also turn off the prong. Let me turn down my fan. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, well, it looks like we're back. Say something.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, but it's well, we're back on.
So Fat Steven is saying pro and flip the O and R. Am I like stupid or what? I don't know what that means. Okay, audio avatar.
Does it sound like? Yeah, it's
I've never had this sound problem before, so I'm just wondering if it's anything on my end. Give me a second, folks. Okay, I think we should be good. Back.
Okay.
Okay, so where were we? And take two.
Um,
So we were at this piece here. We were talking about Scoot.
sure, sure.
So let's start
Yeah.
again with Scoot.
Well, I don't want to get too much into it, but I guess I don't want to bore much. But yeah, it's basically the scooter and how it represents our community and how we got these scooters all over the city. So it was basically an influence on that. So yeah, and that character, I don't really know where it came from, but I thought it just fits in perfect. And maybe it was my perspective of
Hmm.
when I would see someone riding the scooter.
Well, this guy doesn't have any hands.
Yeah, yeah,
what
I know.
what's up with that?
And and look, I have no idea. I mean, look at what's coming out of his face or his head.
It's
It's
a mask.
like a mask or something. Yeah,
Well,
like a
you know,
trunk or.
it's like nowadays everything is so like, COVID 2020. So it's like, oh, is this a political statement right
It's
now?
true, right? I mean, shit. When you think of COVID, it's like where we see you. It's like being naked, without the mask. So we're entering that kind of mentality, which is kind of weird, I guess. Um,
And his
but
feet.
yeah, yeah.
Look at his feet.
What was that?
Fat Ryan Johnson says it's his feet.
Oh, it's his feet.
Fat Steven Seagal, excuse me.
Oh,
Yeah, we got some awesome people that follow us and that we follow back in this community here. So again, we're with artist Ricardo Ricardo Garcia. Like the way I roll that R. Um, so yeah, so what's next for you, man? What's next for you?
well, it's interesting because I've been exploring so many different ideas, and I'm not sure if you see that hat I designed. Well, it technically is just a logo that I was playing with,
Hmm.
and because of that, I decided to play with other mediums. Um, I kind of put a little bit of the painting on hold, and as you mentioned earlier, I've been writing a lot,
Hmm.
so I got this idea of doing another short. So it's going to be maybe 5 7 minute long, and so I'm really excited about that, just to play with and just to dive deeper into myself and see what's inside of me and how can I express it. So there's been a lot of that.
Tell us about the story, man. And you're gonna film it in El Paso?
Yeah, yeah. I got a good buddy of mine who's going to film it. So I'm writing it. I'm going to act on it, and it's really about today's issues and how we're still in the eye of the storm, sort of. And what we haven't really explored yet is, here you have the stats of 170 plus people, thousand dead, and we don't know, a lot of those people probably got that virus by someone that they know. So imagine you being the person that you gave it to your grandfather, mother, dad, kids, whatever. And what if you're the person that gave it to that person and that person dies? We're not talking about the person with all the guilt that they're probably going to carry. Sure, the truth is it's not nobody's fault to a certain degree, but we're not talking about the guilt that a person might carry because of that. And that's basically what my short is about. How this person, as much as you try to tell them, no, it's not your fault, but that person is going to carry that, and the way they're going to deal with it, and it's probably going to be destructive. So it's kind of dark. It's a little dark, short, but I think it's important that we need to address it, because don't tell me out of those 170,000. people, there's people there that are carrying that guilt. And who's to say if they're going to be obviously self-destructive or do something more than it's expected, you know? So I think it's an important topic to talk about and explore. Yeah.
So you're saying that you're gonna do 2 shorts or just one?
Yeah. So out of that one, I got another idea, and the other idea is more of philosophy and depth and just how we deal with all this and what is the right way of dealing with all this, if there is, but I think for me, I'm kind of I'm exploring that path. I don't have fully everything concrete, and plus I don't think I want to share too much, but I think once I do, then I would love for you to see it, or whoever it is, and again, I'm not professional filmmaker or none of that stuff, or writer. I'm just here expressing. That's it.
What about this image that I put up right here? I got this
That
off your
was
Facebook.
from an exploration that I've been playing with a while back, maybe about 10, 12 years ago. I started doing these shadow kind of art, figurative, non-figurative, I guess, at the same time, almost abstract figurative. And I revisited that about a few months ago, maybe about a month ago. So it's interesting because it's giving you that almost old film feeling, and I'm not showing any facial expressions, but a lot of movement, and I'm really intrigued right now with movement as well. It's a safe
Why
way to
black and
look at
white?
art, I guess.
Yeah, why for you this black? Why it in black and white?
Black and white, just a contrast. It's a powerful. It's also a dichotomy, but it's also that thing that it's hard to avoid. That you're forced to not interpret, but interpret it your way. And I really like that idea. It's not, it
So
can't lie, that
yeah,
those shadows, those black and white, it's not there to cover up with another color or another blending. It's just, it is what it is, the perfections.
so tell us about how your work as a person from this part of the world, your culture and your background. How was it received in different countries, man?
You know, I, I, I really don't care. It's, I mean, I'm sure people could say it's good. People could say that it's not. I just really just want me to be happy. How if I accept it. But in the long run, I did get some positive feedback, and that's great. But if you like, I tell people, if you like it, great. If you don't, great. I honestly don't care. I just want to express myself. You know.
So, in traveling like you've done with your work, it's such a thrill and a different way to see the world. Um, what are, what are people's takes on America? Uh, what are the first things that that do people talk to you about, in a sense, because they see you, this artist from
Sure.
America and from the Southwest.
Well, it's interesting when I was in, and I'm going to use reference of Spain recently, but mostly Venice, with being there last year.
Hmm.
In Venice, it was a kind of a wrong time for Americans to be there, just because with all the negative political uh, representation,
Hmm.
and it was interesting because they were very disappointed, you know, in in how
What
we're
do you mean
running.
disappointed?
Well, it's just on our leadership. They were very disappointed on Trump. They were very disappointed on this whole division of things, of people.
Hmm.
And maybe at a certain point, we held that responsibility or that influence of, of this so-called, it's even in our name as a country, United States, and to see what, first of all, what we see in our own country, to have other people see it as well, it's interesting perspective.
As the world's loudest motorcycle drives on by me, whizzes on by, flexing their American
Yeah,
attitude. Yeah.
yeah. But
Uh,
I didn't really see it as them. Yeah, there a lot of them are pissed, but it's more of a disappointment. You know.
mhm. Yeah, no, I think it's always fascinating as far as we get in our own bubble, what um, outsiders, people from other countries, and vice versa, because we got our own
Sure.
preconceived ideas, Um, but here you are, an artist from this part of the world that has done and seen things a lot of Americans simply aren't gonna experience. That's just
I,
that's
I
just a
agree,
fact.
man. And it's interesting, Paul, how important it is for us as Americans to get out. It's understanding other people's obviously culture, but perspective and how they view things, and it's so necessary for us.
Hmm.
And you're absolutely right, though.
I'm pulling up an article so we can chat, but it's always like a little bit of a of a challenge here because I'm not like Mr. Techno yet with all this stuff. But let's go to this topic and we'll get Ricardo's uh, uh, quick response. So this came out today where Congressman Julian Castro wrote this article for Variety, and the headline there kind of says it all. Oh, excuse me, Joaquin, his twin brother, Joaquin. All apologies, Julian. Oh shoot. Well, I know, man. I'm telling you, it's hot. What are you gonna
Yeah,
do? We're all trying to make it. We're all trying to
absolutely.
make it, brother. Rep Joaquin Castro. Latinos love Hollywood, but Hollywood hates Latinos. Um, we'll read a little bit of it, but I find it
Okay.
interesting. Within the last 24 hours, uh, he's come out with two op-eds, and this first one was right before the Democratic National Convention yesterday, where I'm getting the brothers mixed up. Maybe it's a 1-2. Julian Castro warns of potential slides of the Latino support for Democrats. And look, they look alike. What are you going to do? And then 24 hours later, his brother, Joaquin Castro, there he is on the set. This is from last year. This is on the set of a TV show that actually was, it was quote unquote, it ended. The show was called Vida, and it enjoyed 3 seasons on Hulu. And I honestly have not seen it. I just started watching it, the first episode, and it didn't grip me enough to where
Right.
um, kind of kept my interest. But in this piece, let's just read a little bit of it, and then we'll take it from there.
Sure.
Over a year ago, a gunman drove more than 600 miles to shoot and kill people because he viewed Latinos who lived in El Paso long before the U.S. was even founded as invaders. The massacre in a Walmart not far from the U.S.-Mexico border was an act of terror, the deadliest attack on Latinos in more than 100 years. What motivated such monstrous hate? I'm asking this question not only as the chairman of the Congressional Hispanic Caucus, but also as the father of 2 Latino children. Today, there's a dangerous nexus between the racial, political rhetoric and the negative images of Latinos as criminals and invaders that Americans see on their screens. And here's where he loses me. It's clear that many Americans have a fundamental misunderstanding of who Latinos are. Okay, we're going to stop there. I disagree. I disagree. He just, to me, within that paragraph in that first sentence, he just canceled himself out by making a gross generalization that many Americans have a fundamental misunderstanding. How does he know? Based off his experience, based off empirical data, what do you got? He goes on to say, prejudice has existed in the United States for generations, but the image of our community created by film and television has done little to counter bigoted views and too often has amplified them. There's that magic word, amplify. People don't want to amplify masculine voices. We want to amplify that voice. But your voice is invisible. But you as a drug lord or drug dealer on film will amplify that. Anyways. He goes on to say, I bet most studio executives are progressive, yet the industry is regressive. Hollywood looks like an America of yesteryear. You can draw a clear line from the pervasive lack of positive Latino representation on screen to the rise of hate crimes against our community, including El Paso. There he did. That is the point of his article.
Well, who wrote this article?
This is him. This is his op-ed. This is his editorial.
So, this is Joaquin, or
this is doesn't matter. Yeah, it's Joaquin.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Not because it seems like maybe he's trying to hype up things, and I get it. What I think those are 2 separate things. So what happened in El Paso and what's happening in Hollywood, and I see what he's trying to say, that he's trying to influence that these crazy people are doing these things to Latinos. But the fact that this kid is, what was he, like 21 or something, drove all these 600 miles to kill Latino. He's a sick person. I get it if you're being influenced, but it seems like he made a conscious decision. How important do you think what he's saying was influence to this kid? Or I don't know. Let's explore that.
Well, I've already said how I feel, right? That he's drawing it says it. You can draw a clear line from the pervasive lack of positive Latino representation to the rise of hate crimes. So he's laying it on Hollywood's feet. It's like, look, you see what happened? This guy did this crime because you aren't showing Latinos in a good light. It's your fault, Hollywood.
Right. The influence of what Hollywood is doing.
Representation. Positive representation online, on screen. He goes on, in this moment of pandemic and protest, Hollywood needs to reckon with the systematic injustice and exclusion of our community. So he's using the language of Black Lives Matter, and he's taken out Black Lives Matter and he's put it in. This is almost boilerplate now.
Yeah.
This is boilerplate.
You know, I guess let's talk about one thing
Yeah, whatever pops in your
to kind
head.
of clear
And
to intertwine this. I'm sorry.
Cold-Blooded Critic says Ricardo is a firme artist for sure. I will delve deeper into his work after this great guest and show, Latino Slant. Thanks, Cold-Blooded. Gracias, man.
Thank you. Awesome. Bro.
Yeah. Cold-Blooded is a funny dude. He's up north.
Oh, really?
Got a funny
That's
channel.
great.
Yeah. So go on.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's something that's been in my mind too of Hollywood, right? And you hear the pros and cons, and yes, it's true. I'm sure there is a lot of negative, you know, representation that's presenting who we are. And part of me, I'm sick and tired of seeing that cholo thing, that farmer guy always playing the same part. You know, we're also doctors. You know, we're also engineers. We're also artists. We're also musicians. We have such a beautiful culture as all Latinos do. And of course, we can embrace so many great things about it, but to hear this repetitions of, of representation of who we are, it's I'm tired of seeing that as well. The pros is we are the majority of the minorities that when someone spends money to go to the theater to watch a movie, guess what biggest percentage is? It's Latinos. We have power. I think the question is that instead of being anti or being in the defensive realm, I think it's time for us to unite and to us create our own empire. You know, our own. We have the great directors and producers and writers, and we have funds. You know, there's funds willing to back it up, especially when we see the amount of people going to spending it in entertainment. So the question is, I think, why are we settling for peanuts, so to speak? You know, like why are we knocking the door to Hollywood? Hey, open the door, you know, please give me the opportunity. Fuck that, you know. Like I'm not here to ask for permission. I'm here to take what's who I am, what's my God-given right, you know, kind of attitude. Like I think that defensive probably worked maybe in the past, but right now we have it right now, bro. And I wish we could see that. I wish other people could see that. You know, change that again, going back to perspective. If we see who we truly are and what we can do, that's what I'm excited. You know, that's what I see coming. You know, because why not, man? We have the technology that favors us, meaning the people with no funds, so to speak. You know.
Well, he goes on to say Latinos prop up Hollywood economically, accounting for nearly 1 in 4 of all box office ticket sales.
There you go.
But they account for a mere 4% of directors, 3% of producers. This could not be an accident in the city of Los Angeles, like Latinos are nearly half the population. Well, listen, Hollywood is an imported industry, even though it's been in Los Angeles for decades. The top people,
So
everyone's imported from the East Coast, from the writers to the casting directors to the people that run it. No one is from LA. And it's very rare that any of them are Latinos from LA.
I know that.
So that's why you always see, like, well, why is that person who's not really playing that Latino character well? Well, they were miscast because no one knows what they're doing. But that has gotten a little better. So he makes a case, though. This you know. What you bring up is fine.
Talk about it.
Yeah, he makes a case for government intervention is clear. Hollywood is failing to include Latinos on its own, meriting increased scrutiny from community leaders and elected officials. Taxpayer dollars flowing to an exclusionary industry, particularly in the form of production credits, deserves special attention. Why should we subsidize exclusion? Um, yeah, you can't social reform every industry, man.
Right. Well, let me
I
ask you this
mean,
question, Paul. I'm sorry.
you can.
Uh,
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
no. I'm just brainstorming here. So, why don't is there a company or is there like a production company run by, say, Latinos for Los Angeles or something
Hmm.
that they created, kind of thing? Is there?
Hmm.
I don't know.
Well, one example comes to mind is what Robert Rodriguez has done with his Troublemaker Studios in Austin, Texas. And the El Rey Network. So I don't, I don't know. He doesn't mention, he doesn't mention in this article any merits, like any of the achievements. Even though right here he's on the set of a TV show that went on for 3 seasons. It's very hard
Yeah, and
for
I
a
saw
TV
it be that.
show. Yeah, it's very hard for a TV show any TV show
Right.
to make 3 seasons, much less much less. I mean, this is a narrow niche show. Is Latina, it's gay, it's woke. It's like this is a particular audience.
Yeah,
But
no, talented
yeah,
cast, a lot of good actors.
well, whatever. Yeah, the point is that it got 3 seasons. So that's 3 seasons of people working front and behind the camera. There's a handful of other shows, and we've gone over this. Netflix, One Day at a Time, Mr. Iglesias show, Narcos Mexico, um, and then the work and those are being produced by major productions. So I don't
I would
know.
love to see a production of us kind of thing. I'm talking about funding. I'm talking about
Right.
our own shit.
Well,
That would be cool.
independently, it does get done, right? You have
Yeah, of
movies
course.
in the recent weeks that have debuted that we've talked about. Tax Collector.
Yeah.
A lot of Latino actors, production, big production went into this film, right?
Right.
That's at the end of the day backed by a studio
Right.
that did very well. I think 2 weeks now it's been #1. And this past week we had the independent horror film Murder in the Woods that came out, all brown, written by a Chicana from Chicago. She self-produced this movie about 5 years ago. It was Blood, Sweat, and Tears. We need to get her on the show. Blood, Sweat, and Tears. They finally got this old, and it just got released into like 29 drive-ins. And then in a few weeks, this movie will be on video on demand, Apple,
Oh, okay.
on Amazon. That's Danny Trejo right there. He's like the go-to,
Yeah.
the go-to
He's in
badass,
everything, man.
the go-to badass. But that's an example. Here are two different examples of Hollywood. And at the end of the day, she got a distribution deal.
Yeah.
It got in the theaters. It took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears just for her to get that movie made and have someone
And
pick it up.
what's the topic on that movie? Forgive me. I know I will see it, but I haven't had a chance.
Yeah, I have not seen that movie yet. That is next to my queue to review. But that is it's more like your straight campy teenager horror film. Like teenagers go to the cabin
Okay.
to get it on, have some fun.
See, I kind of like to see stuff like that. You know what I mean? Instead of your
Right.
typical Soto and First, same
Mhm.
car driving by, family hugging.
Hey man,
like
hey, you
I
just
get it.
described
I
this
get it.
movie. What the fuck, dude? What's wrong with you? Fucker.
But that's what I'm talking about, man. It's don't get me wrong. They're all great, you know. They're all. But come on, brother. How many times more do you want to? I want to see the amazing talent that these worlds in every individual as Latinos have. That I want to see that perspective. I'm not gonna pay whatever ticket to go see that repetitious theme again. You know, I want to see the amazing talent that we have in there. You know.
Well,
And
there's room for all
there's
stories.
sci-fi.
That's
There's
what you're
horror.
saying. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, we talk about sci-fi a lot here, and then with the community that we're in, because the community is all about story first, story first. You know, they're huge Edward James Olmos fans because he was Commander Adama in Battlestar Galactica. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
but
like,
I get it. But look at Mexico. Look at Latino America. What they're doing, bro.
right.
Innovating shit with
Yeah.
little bit of budget, with just talented cast, talented writers, and with themes that
Yeah.
blow your mind. You know,
No, I'm
I
with you,
know
man.
we have that here.
I'm with
I'm
you.
not sure if it's an oppression of safetyness and conservative, like this type of screenplay you got to write all the time.
Mhm.
Like I would love to see more exploration of up, down, everywhere kind of thing. You know,
Well,
like
I'm glad you brought that up. This is the next thing I'm going to review. I just saw the whole movie, and this is a horror film of unlike we've ever seen. It is from Guatemala, and I'll let it speak for itself. Here you go.
Lo que se quedó atrás está atrás. No penses en eso. Que no te afecte.
Oyó a alguien llorar.
Los sirvientes se quieren ir. Todos tienen miedo.
Este encierro nos está enfermando. Mi papá a ti te contaba todo.
Te prohíbo pensar eso. Es una invasión. ¿Cuándo nos irán a dejar en paz?
Demi ahli والقوارش كقلنا. أشنوكا خوشيال. شكوكا جتشلين. شوياكا.
Lo que se quedó atrás está atrás.
Yeah.
let's see
So
that.
I think you said something great. Innovative work, like you just saw, from Latin America. I think Hollywood has come to accept and expect that. And then when it's like US Latino, Chicano stuff, it's always has to have a connection to drugs, the border. So, you know, there's kind of like an unfortunate, give and take there. And then they lump us all together. Well, it's like, well, you got your foreign film that's in Spanish. You should be happy.
Right. Right.
But going back to La Llorona, that's what this movie is called. We just saw it the other day. It's on Shutter. I'm gonna do my review. It is amazing, Ricardo.
Really?
It's like every scene, as you could tell just from that, it's like a work of art.
Yeah. Great
Yeah, I mean, it's like a different type of freaky. And then the backdrop is that this man, this viejo, was part of a genocide of the indigenous population. So it was like, oh shit, they're coming after you, man, because of the crimes you committed. So it had a very strong political bent, but don't make any mistake. The haunting was very intimate. It's very personal. It's deep. So yeah, that's a movie where your political agenda can work because it's not giving in. It's not giving up the story, right? Because you see these movies that are just about agenda, political agenda, and it's just like, okay, well, okay, that's nice, but what about the story?
Right. Absolutely. And they had funding. They had funding. They had producers that were able to make a movie. And don't tell me that we don't have that here. Of course we do.
Well, yeah. Shellback is one of our dudes that we chat with here on the site. At the end of the day, we're all alike. All ethnicities have their lowlights and outstanding contributing members of society. Absolutely. Thanks, Shellback. Hope you're having a good day, man. Let's go back to the sci-fi thing that you brought up. Have you seen Alita: Battle Angel?
Yeah.
Latino director with James Cameron. Alita was portrayed by a Latina actress. This was an outstanding sci-fi movie.
Great.
And so it is possible, even though there's not an overt Latino. It's about a Latino family. It wasn't but it was done by Rodriguez, who's now become one of our great directors. His career. I mean, there's movies I like him and don't like from him. This one I love. This one is his best film.
It was good.
So I think the example within are people like him, people like Yelena that did Murder in the Woods, that do it independently and yet have their connections to Hollywood. Because it's clear what Hollywood produces. To me, it's just reinforcing stereotypes. And I'm not even talking about the, like Tax Collector. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about like, City of Angels, Penny Dreadful, where they try to rewrite, Zoot Suit history for the modern day. It's just like, it's just wrong because your agenda. It's all about your agenda. So yeah, man. That's
it's interesting. Yeah, no, I agree, man. I think it's it's important. I think for us to consider exploring, new ways of doing things, new ways of not fully depend on one source. And I think if we do, it's going to continue to hurt us. We have the technology. We don't need that millions of dollars production. We have green screen. We have other things that we could manage. And we have great writers. Everything is about writing. To me, when I see a good film, it has to be a great script. When you have a great script, it doesn't matter if you have just two people having dialogue, 2 to 3 people. That could be a great movie. Yeah. So we need to explore other ways of making things happen, and I think that's what it is. It's making it fucking happen. Period. We could contact. You know how many friends of mine that I know that are in the film that's written the script or wanting to do their short film. They've been the average person, and maybe you could relate to this. For some reason, I don't know why. It's anywhere from a year to like 4 years that they have the script. But they never done it because one of my challenges that I did a few years ago, maybe about 3 or 4 years ago when I did my first film, is like I never wanted to do that shit. I don't want to wait a year. I wanted to do a film every 4 months. Why?
Right.
Because I want to learn. Fuck trial and error, brother. I'm great at that, and I accept
Right.
it, because I figured to make a masterpiece, it's not going to be on your first attempt. It's going to be probably on your 80 or 100, whatever. That philosophy that I take with my paintings, it's the same thing. So I have no fear of failing. And if it sucks, great. I don't care. I'm learning. But why we're not shooting film anymore. We have a camera. You get your iPhone, get your iPhone 6 or whatever, shoot it, and if you don't like it, erase it, and shoot it again until it works.
Well,
it's not like
look at,
we don't have a lot of money to come
or
out.
even shows, or even what we're doing now. Even this little setup, like 10, 20 years ago, you needed
Right.
a studio to be in.
Yeah,
You needed cameras. You
sure.
needed,
A little crew,
a
an
crew,
editor. Yeah,
an edit, graphics. Yeah,
right.
and we put this together,
Even a boom guy.
algo.
Yeah.
A boom guy named Hector.
Well, think about
So the technologies is at everyone's fingertips, and it's pretty inexpensive. The writers are there now.
Right.
It's the
What's the challenge?
stories. It's the stories,
Okay.
right?
it. Okay.
Right. And then how do you
Absolutely.
tell a good story
Yes.
while still looking good, but on the cheap? And I go back to Rodriguez. He set up this
Right.
this show where on his El Rey network they gave like 5 different filmmakers like I think $1,000 or $7,000. Go do a movie in however long it takes you. So the reality show followed them doing the film, and then their films got to be on the El Rey network.
Yeah.
Now there's this filmmaker, Latino filmmaker. He's coming out with the second movie from that whole thing. He's into his second film called Millennial Bugs. We're gonna have him on here, him and his producer. So it's happening. It is
Yeah.
happening.
So what do you think? Why is it not happening as quick as now? Or is it? What is it? What do you think?
Well, I mean, they're God bless Rodriguez and Troublemaker and El Rey Network, but there is only one of them, right? I don't know who else is doing things on his caliber level in Hollywood. If anyone else knows, hit us up.
See, and that's important. I think you brought a good point.
Mhm.
Hit us up, meaning there has to be a community of this. Even to investors, I guarantee you, there's Latinos out there with a little bit of change they could spare to make a project happen. There is people like that. I know because I encountered a few of those. But it's not. It has to be like maybe let's explore the idea of a community of a sector, a coalition that between ourselves we read the scripts and good. I'm talking about a fucking good talented writer. Kind of shit like that. Because just like in the art, everybody's a fucking an artist or a writer or what have you. An actor. So let's if we want to see great or good stuff, let's I think we need to take it to that level. Put that bar a little bit high to be compatible to the world art out there. And I know we have it. But it'll be great. And I'm not talking, like, go and knock in Hollywood. Obviously, Hollywood is not really, if they're not really responding, if they're really not opening the door, then you still can do it. That's kind of my point. There's always a light. It might not be Hollywood standards, or maybe it could. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is a good discussion. We're here with our artist Ricardo Garcia. There's his .com right there, guys. Please check out his work. And it's always good just to talk shop about the issues of the day. But as far as Hollywood, and the stories are there. The stories that
Right.
demand an epic budget, that demand the scale. Whether it's like the Latino version of Glory, where they had the Tejano Union Brigade fighting, in the Civil War. That's a true story. World War II, you had the most decorated minorities was this street in Chicago of Mexican American kids that went to World War II. That's a true story. Then kind of moving on up, you have these like and they're marketable ideas. I'm talking about Hollywood marketability. Where you got the guy that tried to bring down the killers, tried to track down the killers of Kiki Camarena, that the government hired one of their own, and at the end they told him to stop because you're getting too close to the truth. That guy was a Chicano, DEA agent, on the hunt after El Chapo and all these people. And then the CIA went to gave him a visit. It's a great story. It's Hollywood, right? Because because I think what you're talking about is that artistic. Let's go be pure. That's one thing, and that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a different.
I'm talking to Hollywood motherfuckers, where it's like I'll give you a list of 20 stories you can go produce right now that your pocketbooks can afford. Because if you can afford the tax collector $30 million, brother, you know what I mean?
I'm even talking. What I'm talking about is, solution based, I guess. The alternatives. The $2 to $5 million budgets, kind of thing. Where that could be very possible. I'm talking about possibly like exploring the idea of a GoFundMe for creative kind of
well,
potential movies.
I'm curious because we're not on that end, and I know
That's true.
a couple filmmakers that are that, like as far as Alina getting her movie done. What did it take?
Well,
what did it really take? Because I think you bring something up, and they talk about this a lot on the streams here. Hollywood is not what Hollywood used to be, and they're especially with what COVID is changing the industry. They're not going to hold the golden keys anymore, because now anyone can get a distribution deal through Apple, through Amazon, through Prime, y todo. You know what I'm saying? And then some of those guys are starting to buy movie theaters. So
that's true. That evolution.
Shit's changed.
You're right. It's changing, and you're right. You bring a good point.
So yeah, man. Good stuff.
No, I like it. I love to brainstorm and explore.
So you're going to El Paso to do a short film.
Yes.
And then when do you think you're gonna have a product that we can debut here in the Slant? Boom.
Oh, maybe in a few months. Depends how things work out, and the next few weeks. It's interesting. We're in a situation now where we can't really goal set too far. I mean, maybe for myself. It's like fuck. Yeah. What if I don't really reach that destination, so to speak? And I don't want to sound pessimistic, but I am grateful for the fact that I'm living at this moment, that I could, whatever I can do today, I feel grateful as for me to attempt, but I hope that it's going to be good for me, the fact that I'll be able to create, see friends, and also see my family. My parents live there, and my siblings as well. So I'm looking forward to it. Plus, road trips. I love road trips.
Well, we want to thank you for being on here. We're gonna wrap it up. Let's thank all the people that actually commented. You had Cold-Blooded
Thank you
Critic.
guys.
You had
Thank you guys for
Ishmael.
watching.
Yeah, you had Ishmael Chavez.
Oh, hey, Ishmael.
Fat Steven Seagal beat up Ryan Johnson. Hell yeah. What's up, loco? And then you have Shellback, which I always appreciate. This guy's a homie. All these guys are
That's great.
homies.
Awesome.
You can reach Ricardo's work, Ricardo at his website, Ricardo with 2 R's, Garcia.com. Check out his work, guys. And we'll have him back in a few months, man, after your triumphant return.
Exploration.
Yeah. Be safe.
Thank you,
And
brother. Same here. And for everybody, please be safe. And thank you guys for watching. And thank you again, Paul. I love this energy. I love where everything is going. We got to continue this dialogue.
Anytime, brother. We'll get you on the big live show, when you return with all the other compadres, and we'll chop it up.
Excellent.
All right, we'll
Awesome,
take
brother.
you guys out with
Love you, brother. Take care.
The music. Love you too. Peace, everyone.
Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. Come on, y'all. The Slant. The Slant. All right, Paul, let's go.